the world is holding its breath. Tension is thick in the air, as leaders and citizens alike sense that history is shifting beneath their feet. Today, August 10, 2025, the shadows of a new Cold War are growing. The uneasy peace that has lasted for decades now feels more fragile than ever. Russia has unveiled the Oreshnik missile, a weapon that changes the rules of modern warfare. Its arrival signals a dramatic escalation in the global arms race. This hypersonic missile moves at speeds that make current defenses nearly useless. It can strike targets before most warning systems even register its presence. Its first use sent shockwaves through the international community. Governments scrambled to assess the threat, and emergency meetings were called across continents. Now, Russia plans to place these missiles in Belarus, right on NATO's doorstep. The move is seen as a direct challenge to Western security. The message: a new era of military confrontation has begun. The world is witnessing a return to brinkmanship not seen since the 20th century. In response, the United States is quietly repositioning its nuclear submarines. These maneuvers are shrouded in secrecy, but their intent is clear. These silent hunters carry enough firepower to end civilizations. Their mere presence beneath the waves is a powerful deterrent. Their movements are a firm answer to Russia's bold move. Each deployment is a calculated signal meant to reassure allies and warn adversaries. This is a high-stakes game of global chess. Every decision, every maneuver could tip the balance between peace and catastrophe. Each side is showing strength, pushing the other to react. The world's militaries are on alert, ready for any sudden escalation. The world wonders, is this posturing or the start of something far more dangerous? Ordinary people everywhere are left to hope that cooler heads will prevail. This is not a conflict of soldiers, but of technology, strategy, and nerves. The future may be decided not on battlefields, but in control rooms and command centers. Russia claims Oreshnik can bypass any Western defense. Its confidence is matched only by the West's determination to adapt and respond. The US points to its invisible submarine fleet, ready to strike from anywhere. These vessels are a reminder that the balance of power is always shifting. As both sides build and deploy new weapons, the line between deterrence and disaster grows thinner. The pace of technological change leaves little room for error. The moves made now could define global security for generations. The choices of today will echo far into the future, shaping the world our children inherit. The Oreshnik missile is a name the world now fears. It's a hypersonic missile, traveling at over Mach 11, crossing continents in minutes. At this speed, it's nearly impossible to track or intercept. Existing defenses are simply not equipped for this threat. The world first saw Oreshnik in action during the Ukraine conflict. A demonstration of Russian power. It can carry multiple warheads, striking several targets at once and overwhelming defenses. Oreshnik is not nuclear, but that makes it more dangerous, lowering the threshold for use. A conventional missile this powerful could be launched in a crisis with little hesitation. Its range puts major European capitals within minutes of destruction from Belarus. The few minutes between launch and impact leave no time for questions or diplomacy. The arrival of Oreshnik is not just an evolution, it's a revolution in warfare. It forces Western military planners to rethink defense from the ground up. The balance of power has shifted overnight. The world must adapt or risk being left defenseless. Russia's decision to deploy Oreshnik missiles in Belarus is strategic. Belarus borders 3 NATO members: Poland, Lithuania, and Latvia. Placing missiles here puts them on the front line, dramatically shortening warning times for NATO. Russia says this is a response to growing Western threats and NATO's eastward expansion. US missile defense systems in Poland and Romania are seen by Moscow as provocations. By deploying Oreshnik in Belarus, Russia is mirroring NATO's moves, escalating the standoff. This is geopolitical chess, weapons for weapons, threat for threat. Russia also links this deployment to US nuclear submarines patrolling near its borders. The Oreshnik creates a parallel threat, holding high-value NATO targets at risk. This strengthens the Russia-Belarus alliance and deepens Moscow's influence. The deployment redraws Europe's security map, creating a new and tense standoff. Russia is using its technological edge to force the West to take its security concerns seriously. The stakes for the region, and the world, have never been higher. The US response to Oreshnik is silent, but deadly. While the world watches Russia's latest missile test, America's answer moves unseen, deep beneath the waves. America's nuclear-powered submarines, especially the formidable Ohio class, are the backbone of its nuclear deterrence. These vessels form a silent shield patrolling the world's oceans day and night. These submarines are ghosts in the ocean, undetectable and able to strike from anywhere. Their stealth is legendary, making them nearly impossible to track, even for the most advanced adversaries. Each Ohio-class sub carries up to 20 Trident II missiles, each missile equipped with multiple independently targetable nuclear warheads. This gives a single submarine the power to unleash devastation on a massive scale. The destructive power of a single sub is enough to destroy dozens of cities, making them one of the most formidable weapons ever built. Their mission is clear: to guarantee a devastating counterattack if America or its allies are attacked. This constant readiness is what keeps adversaries in check. This is the core of America's nuclear strategy: assured destruction. The knowledge that any attack will be met with overwhelming force is what maintains the fragile balance of power. In response to Oreshnik, the U.S. Navy has increased submarine patrols, operating closer to strategic regions and potential hotspots, always adapting to new threats. The next-generation Columbia-class subs will be even quieter and harder to detect, pushing the boundaries of stealth technology and ensuring America's edge beneath the waves. While Russia makes a public show of its new missile, the U.S. relies on invisible force. Its submarines remain hidden but always present, a constant shadow beneath the surface. Russia's Oreshnik creates an immediate visible threat. America's submarines create a constant underlying risk that never fades, always lurking just out of sight. The U.S. message is clear: its undersea deterrent remains the ultimate trump card, a force that cannot be easily countered or neutralized. There's no need to match Russia's missile with one of its own. The silent hunters are more than enough to tip the scales and keep adversaries guessing. The psychological game is as important as the military one. The uncertainty and fear of the unknown are powerful weapons in themselves. The world is reminded: America's deterrent is always lurking, always ready, a silent guardian beneath the waves. In this new Cold War, silence is power. The true strength of America's response lies not in what is seen, but in what remains hidden, waiting, and ready to strike if ever needed. When comparing the military power of Russia and the United States, it's clear that both nations pursue very different strategies, shaped by their unique histories, resources, and global ambitions. Russia, for example, invests heavily in asymmetric weapons like the Oreshnik missile system, aiming to bypass and undermine Western technological strengths, rather than compete head-to-head. Since Russia can't match the vast U.S. military budget, it focuses on developing game-changing technologies that can shift the balance of power with fewer resources. The Oreshnik missile is specifically designed to defeat expensive Western missile defense networks, offering Russia a cost-effective yet highly strategic threat that forces adversaries to rethink their security. Meanwhile, the United States relies on its overwhelming technological and economic superiority, maintaining a vast arsenal of advanced weaponry and global infrastructure. America's strength lies in its worldwide military presence, sophisticated layered defenses, and especially its formidable submarine fleet, which can operate undetected across the globe. 14 Ohio-class submarines form the most survivable and secretive leg of America's nuclear triad, ensuring a credible second strike capability even in the event of a surprise attack. Russia's smaller fleet of Boris-class submarines is highly capable, but the U.S. maintains an edge in stealth technology and underwater detection, making its deterrent more elusive. However, Russia is pulling ahead in the race for hypersonic missile technology. The Oreshnik missile gives Russia a new, rapid, conventional strike capability that is difficult to intercept. This new capability creates a dangerous imbalance. Russia can now threaten NATO targets with little warning, compressing decision times for Western leaders and increasing the risk of miscalculation. While the U.S. nuclear deterrent guarantees massive retaliation in the event of a large-scale attack, its credibility is less certain when it comes to responding to limited, precise strikes like those enabled by Oreshnik. This presents a serious dilemma. Would the United States really risk full-scale nuclear war over a limited Oreshnik missile strike? Or would it hesitate, giving Russia more room to maneuver? Russia is betting that its new weapon will give it greater flexibility and leverage in any future crisis, allowing it to shape events to its advantage. The stakes of this strategic gamble are nothing less than global security, as both sides adapt to a rapidly changing balance of power. For decades, arms control treaties kept the peace. The INF Treaty banned land-based missiles like Oreshnik from Europe, but the treaty collapsed in 2019, freeing both sides to build new weapons. The Oreshnik is a direct result, a weapon that would have been illegal just years ago. Other treaties have also fallen apart, only New START remains, and it's set to expire soon. We are entering a future with no legal limits on nuclear arsenals. Without treaties, there's no transparency, only suspicion and fear. Each side assumes the worst, fueling a new arms race. One side builds a new weapon, the other builds two. The deployment of Oreshnik and the US submarine response are the opening moves in this dangerous new game. There are no referees, no rulebook, just risk. The world is now playing with fire. These new weapons create a paradox. Both sides claim they deter war by making attack unthinkable. Russia believes Oreshnik will keep NATO at bay, the US trusts its submarines to prevent conflict, but the very features that make these weapons good for deterrence also make them dangerous. Oreshnik's speed shrinks decision time to minutes, raising the risk of catastrophic miscalculation. A false alarm or technical glitch could trigger disaster. The line between conventional and nuclear war is blurred. If Russia used Oreshnik on NATO, how would the alliance respond? These technologies, meant to keep us safe, may actually be creating new pathways to conflict. The world is walking a razor's edge. The world stands at a crossroads. Some argue this is just the return of great power politics, a tense but stable balance. Hypersonic missiles like Oreshnik give leaders more options than just surrender or apocalypse. In theory, this could create a more stable deterrence, but others warn we're entering the most dangerous period since the Cuban Missile Crisis. The collapse of treaties and the speed of new weapons remove time for reason and diplomacy. The risk of accidental war is higher than ever. Secrecy, mistrust, and worst-case thinking now define global security. Trillions are spent on weapons, not solutions to global problems. This is not chess, it's a reckless gamble with humanity's future. The Oreshnik missile and America's submarine response are more than headlines. They're the story of our time. Rising nationalism, collapsing trust, and frantic searches for security define this new era. The old architecture of global security is gone. A new, unpredictable competition has emerged. This arms race is about speed, stealth, AI, and cyber warfare, more complex and dangerous than ever. Few rules, little trust, and high stakes. The great unanswered question, are we building a safer world, or dismantling the structures that kept us safe? The Oreshnik has been launched, the silent hunters are on the prowl. The next move will decide the fate of the world.